wherever you go, wherever you are, there's one simple question which is guaranteed to get you interesting stories. And in this case, a story that was so wild and fanciful that I just had to share it with you and even tentatively classify it as a new form of urban cryptid. Welcome once again to the CM Kozeman channel. If you like what I've been doing so far, please consider supporting me on Patreon and buy me a coffee. The links are below. Okay, so the question in question is a simple one. Whenever you go to a new place or meet somebody who is in an interesting line of work, there's one simple question you can ask them. And that question is, what is the most interesting event that you had while working in whatever they are working? It really works well with doctors or people who have traveled overseas for their line of work, and you never fail to get an interesting story. Well, this time round, I actually tried this question in a very nice and cozy cafe I frequently go to. There's a really nice lady there who's very sharp about her line of work, and soon enough we struck up a conversation. And I asked her, what's the strangest thing you experienced which happened here? And she thought about it a little. Obviously, she was trying to filter out the usual interesting incidents like somebody fighting or somebody vomiting, and she really wanted to come up with something genuinely interesting. And then said, oh my god, yeah, it just happened last week. And this is what happened. So there was a family of uncertain origin came around to have a cup of tea or something. Now this family had with them a kid, which the waitress described as something like a mole. It's hard to describe. Apparently this kid's eyes were too close together or something. I don't know. But I asked, did this kid have Down syndrome or something? No, it was like a perfectly healthy kid, Just what he did was really interesting. So this cafe, I really like it because it has got these really broad windows, like 3 meters or 9 feet wide windows, facing the entire street, okay? And usually the nice seats are next to the windows so you can have your tea or coffee and watch the people pass on by. Now this kid's parents sat next to one such window. And then, in the waitress's words, the kid proceeded, like one of those aquarium fish that clean windows, to lick and clean every part of that window methodically. He left no spot unlicked, and he started from one end of the window, just licking the glass, licking the glass, licking the glass, licking the glass, and proceeded to the other. I mean, I would not have believed this, but really my source is a reputable source. This waitress was not somebody who would make up exaggerated stories, She did not have that sort of character. She's a very level-headed person. Anyways, back to the story. This took place over the duration of an hour or something, The kid took his time and he was very methodical about it. When this was happening, the parents completely ignored the spectacular phenomenon that was unfolding before them. I guess they were used to this, or that's maybe how the kid fed himself, who knows. The parents totally ignored him, and the kid just licked and licked. And when an hour or something passed and the parents finished having their coffee, they just calmly got up, collected the kid, and paid their bill, and just fucking left. That was that. When they left, the window was entirely covered with saliva from one end to the other, and the waitress and her colleagues at that cafe spent something like 2 hours cleaning the window. They had to go over it with Windex with 3 separate passes or something. And that was that. This family just came in, did their thing, refused to elaborate, and fucked off. That was that. A strange experience that would have been lost had I not asked this one question. So that's that, everybody. This kid is almost like a cryptid, and I would like to believe he's still haunting the city, licking windows and feeding on moisture or whatever he's doing. I hope he grows up to be an excellent individual, and for some reason it just feels better to live in a world where this interesting character is roaming the streets than living in a world without him. So that's that. It's a short podcast. Once again, if you liked what you heard, consider donating. And always remember this one question: what's the most interesting thing that happened to you in your line of work? Is a very useful question. You can harvest a lot of great stories that way. If you have any similar stories which you overheard or which you experienced, I am also now asking that question to you. What was the most interesting weird story that happened to you in your line of work? Let me know in the comments, and that's that. As always, I love you all. Goodbye.